Can I hear my mic? I can. Let me turn your guys' mics on.
For some reason, I was able to get my headset to work, which, to be honest, is probably the most important one, right?
True.
Okay. Since I
Suppose
monitored
won
the
this
levels.
thing again, huh?
You sure did.
Yeah. We are live and we are now recording, and there's everybody's bright smiley faces except Ken, who's currently off camera picking out a donut.
Good morning. Good morning.
There's so many delicious looking donuts.
They're all
Just
there.
trying on my lovely hat once again because I lost for how badly? I thought it was pretty close. Was this week, wasn't it? On the DraftKings.
It was based on the DraftKings scores. It was
Yeah.
incredibly close. All
That's
three
what I
of
thought.
those.
Yeah.
You too, 121 to 118.
Did you? Because that was our cash lineup. Did you guys put that in a cash
Oh, my
tournament?
tournament was horrible. Because my tournament had Cooper Rush.
Yeah, my tournament was horrible too, but I cashed in the cash even though it was only like 118 or something like that. It was a low week.
Yes.
You need to swivel your mic.
Having the microphone helps.
Something felt wrong.
You just
Sorry about that.
something felt wrong.
Good morning, everybody. It's been a long week as usual.
Yep. But going by fast, man. Just I can't believe this year is almost over. It's just holy crap! It's Christmas time. Thanksgiving?
Almost,
What
right?
the-
Almost. And
Yeah.
then Christmas is on a Wednesday, so we're going to do our Christmas show before Christmas, right? I would imagine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds
so
good.
Maybe we put it.
I don't think I haven't looked at the Sundays, what they fall on.
Yeah, I haven't-
I know Christmas is on a Wednesday.
Yeah, okay.
you know more than I do.
Yeah, because
So then it doesn't really affect us, I don't think. We can just do
You
it.
just do our normal Sunday. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Because normally it does. Normally it falls somewhere around the weekend, and it causes like one of us to have an issue,
Yeah.
so where we can't have a show anywhere near Christmas.
Well, and who knows? Somebody might be out of town or
That's
something
true.
might be going on. I mean, Christmas time is Christmas time, but hopefully we'll get it worked out.
I usually have that stuff like planned out by now. So
Yeah, same here.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to be here.
We have some ideas of some stuff we want to do because I'm going to take 2 weeks off. I'm going to take Christmas week and the New Year's week off. But my wife won't be off till Christmas. So she's going to be working for like those 3 days before
okay.
or whatever it is from the Sunday to that Wednesday.
I like how we're all talking about like holiday vacation stuff as though there's like nothing serious going on in football land. Because as a Cowboys fan, there isn't anything serious going on in football land anymore.
Oh,
It's just
but as a Steelers fan, there's some serious crap going on this week.
Yeah, there is. Some
Oh my
serious
God, all right.
crap going on today.
Well, it does affect the podcast because, knock on wood, we've never had a season where we made it every week. Something has always came up. This is probably the longest we've had. This is our 11th week, 11 weeks straight. It's probably the longest we've ever done, like consistently.
we're
You know?
11-0 this year.
And yeah, and I think that's the difference. Like with one of the differences with our podcasts versus the other podcasts is like the consistent ones. They do it for a living. That's their job, is to get up on the microphone and talk.
Right.
Where all three of us are juggling families, we're juggling our works, and so that makes it a struggle because the podcast is probably on the bottom of our priorities for our lives, right? It's like it's down
Well, I
there.
would say that in terms of like, the actual priorities. But,
yes.
Yeah.
Like,
But given an opportunity to make my own decision and do whatever I want for the day, it moves to the top.
right.
You guys are the best.
Yes, yeah. But like, yeah, hobbies fall to the bottom of an adult's priorities, and this
Definitely.
is obviously a hobby for us. As we continue to grow,
But we take it
maybe
very
that'll change.
seriously. We take Brian and I have been playing fantasy football together for 6 years now. Right?
Yeah, something like that.
And yes, we take it very seriously. all year long too. We talk about fantasy football all year long.
Me too.
So, glad to be here. Week 11.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and
How do we do in our picks last week?
not great. Not great, Bob.
9899.
What is it?
9899. Ken got 8.
And there were no buys, so it was a full slate.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah.
so
hold on. Sorry, that 8.
Ken picked
Like the last 3 weeks, there should be an asterisk next to mine,
Why is that?
and I'm gonna I'll explain that
Honor
right
bound.
now. Yes, because they're honor bound picks, and now I want to ask you guys, At what point, when your team is obviously like phoning it in, are you honor bound to pick them to win?
Dude, you do whatever you want, but I tell you what.
It's your honor.
One time, I picked against my Steelers like 3 years ago. I was just like, we have no hope in this game. This is, you know what I mean? Look, I got to go to the integrity of the show.
That right now.
I'm picking against the Steelers
the AI
just one
got to be
time.
able to do this.
And I did. And they freaking won that week. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never picking against them again.
Or maybe you always pick against them.
No.
But no, it's been kind of pathetic. Like the defense played better in the first half of last week's game. Like the Trayvon Diggs play sticks out in my mind. Like I thought for a second, I was like, okay, all right, they got, you know, they're down 7-3 at this point. You know, come on, Cooper, come on. And he just comes out and is like, incomplete pass, almost get sacked, and intentional grounding, and then we just, and then third down we have no hope of getting, like, we're just not going to convert 3rd and 10s with Cooper Rush against the Eagles. It's just not going to happen. They're playing too well. Their corners are playing insane.
Oh, by the way, Cooper Rush, he's on the trading block after this week if in Dynasty if you want him.
Ooh.
I think
What's funny is I was in talks for Dak before the injury.
Oh, jeez.
And I say in talks, they didn't really go very far because I offered him my first, and when I looked up on trade values, that was like the first was worth a little more. Like,
yeah, that seems like you're giving up too much for
a third. Well, he's 31.
That is the 2 quarterback league as well. We got
right.
There, so.
Yes, it's 2 quarterback. It's 2 quarterback. In a 1 quarterback league, I'm way overpaying, and he should have snapped.
Right. Which is what I was initially thinking, and I was like, oh wait, no, actually,
in a 2 quarterback league, it was deemed as fair with a slight advantage to the pick, because if it had slid into like the top half of the first. Right. Then the pick would just be better.
Yeah, it all depends on where that pick goes.
Yeah, exactly. Because Dak is, you look at Dak as like essentially, a mid-tier, like, replaceable quarterback. You can almost, like, if you have enough quarterbacks on your roster, you can start another quarterback and be pretty happy with it, and give up Dak. And if you get a top of the first round pick in Superflex, you're looking at one of the best, either the best running back in the class, or one of the 2 or 3 best receivers, or maybe a quarterback falls to you, and you get a nice reset.
Look at this year. There's so many valuable pieces.
So,
in
like,
that top
for instance, this year,
draft.
for instance, this year in our draft, in our draft at number 6, you could have had Jonathan Brooks, which looks less good now. Although to me,
we need to see him on the field.
I'm buying on, like, I don't care about the contract for Chuba Hubbard. I'm buying. But you could have had Roma Dunze. I think Neighbors went 5. So, like, I don't think you would have got Neighbors, but you could have Drake May. You could have had J.J. McCarthy. You could have had Michael Penix. You could have drafted Bo Nix. And Nix and Penix both went in the 2nd round in our draft. So, this is a good offer, of a first-round draft pick for Dak. And he gets back to me. Sorry it took so long to come back to this, but he gets back to me. He's like, oh, yeah, I'd need at least 2 first rounds for Dak. And I was like, fair enough. And
moving on.
And then the next week, Dak's out. And I thought about trolling him a little bit, like, hey, offer him a 2nd or something.
Dude, yeah, 3rd.
See where he's at now, maybe 2 seconds for Dak. I'll get it done now. But yeah, I want to see Trey Lance. I want to see Trey Lance. Unless your plan is like, we know he's good, and we're gonna get him super cheap if we don't play him this year, because they have to re-sign him. He's not under contract next year. They picked up his 5th-year option, and that's why he's on the team now. And they're the only ones that know, like, whether they want to keep him or not keep him. And if you don't plan to keep him, like, play him. Maybe somebody will trade you before his contract runs up. Someone will want to have the rights to him so that they can sign him themselves,
And at this point, are you guys really going for the playoffs?
Playoffs.
Yeah, draft picks. So
Playoffs.
Yeah, put in Trey Lance. Why not?
We can't do diddly poo. That actually came out of Jim Mora's mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The diddly poo part and everything.
The diddly poo part.
I don't remember the diddly poo.
Yeah, it is a classic press conference. Yeah. Anyway, that's how I feel about the team right now. Is they can't do anything. They can't do anything right. I've seen Cooper Rush play much better than that. He looked completely unprepared last week. So yeah, let's not talk about them anymore. Let's move on. Let's talk about something a little sunnier. Like your guys are doing great.
Oh man, and it was a nice win last week. I mean, if you watched the game, it was a crazy game, back and forth. Went down to the final seconds. Like, whole lot of fun. Love to get the win, 7-2. But you know what? This week, it's all about the Ravens, man. So I had to put on you know me, I hardly ever wear my jerseys anymore.
He's always t-shirt
But
guy.
Heinz Ward, baby, just got to bring me luck here today.
Toughness.
Oh man,
Yes.
Ravens Steelers is just like the classic game, the classic rivalry. Somebody's going to get hurt in this game. It's guaranteed. I just hope it's not one of my guys, but somebody's going to get hurt in this game. And man, this is going to be a down to the wire, balls to the wall. Oh man, these games are great. So I cannot wait. 10 o'clock. I can't believe this is the early game. This isn't like the night game, or at least an afternoon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If you can watch it, because this is going to be a game.
This is going to be a great game to watch. And it starts off like a very different second half of the season for you guys from the first.
Yes.
Because the first, you got all of the gimme stuff
Yep.
on your schedule.
We got all the cake our cake matchups out of the way.
And you did really well. 7-2 is pretty good.
Yeah.
8-1 would have been nicer.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
God, it should have been.
Cowboys got you.
I know. Should not have. But anyway.
But the second half of the season is gonna be tough.
Yeah. Well, it starts now, man. Like I say,
So we're gonna find out.
and we talked about it last week that was, the Commanders was a real test, and you know, I think so. But anyway, but we passed it barely, I admit. But
Yeah, if you guys had lost, I'd have had some things to say.
right. But
You guys
yeah.
won, so it's
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yes, you held up your end of the bargain and beat the Commanders, and they lost twice this week, which I'm very happy about.
Oh, that's right. I forgot your prediction.
Did you get the tally including Thursday night's game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
It sure did. That was the lone wolf you won. We all won our lone wolves except for your honor bound one. But yeah,
I had an honor bound lone wolf. Yep. All right, yeah. So,
as far as the Rams go, you know,
we're officially off of that. Sorry, just to be clear.
okay. Well, no, actually, before we get off the whole honor bound thing, I have a thought on it since you brought it up. And here's my thought. Originally, when we did this whole honor bound thing, even though we didn't say it out loud, it was one of those things like, again, this is a way we're different. Like, we're not up there trying to be the Kurt Warner who's picking up against the Rams and stuff like that. You know, like, we're showing the other bros out there that, like, hey, no, we're bros just like you. We're not going to go against our own team. Blah,
Come
blah,
on,
blah,
guys,
blah.
we're bros. We're cool.
And so, you know, in saying that, it really is up to you if you're going to do that or not. You know what I mean? You're just you're in here representing the Cowboys, bros. You know what I mean?
I thought it was a good question. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I'm choosing to answer it is, you know, are you going to be the Cowboy fans? Are you going to be the
Go Texans.
Skip Bayless type, you know, or are you going to?
No, I
think everybody knows.
I want to be correct when I pick games. I don't want to be like trying to.
Sure.
I don't want to be gaslighting people.
Well, I mean, I think anybody that watches our show know we do the Honor Brown thing, right? So,
And I mean, unless we're gonna, yeah.
You're gonna
But most of the time, our teams are like trying. This is a kind of a unique experience, and since the time we've been doing the podcast, where like I predicted it, a couple weeks ago that the wheels were going to start falling off and things were going to start getting worse, and it looks like it's going that way. So, like you had Micah Parsons this week talking about the effort, or like comparing, like someone asked him, some question that led him to say something about him feeling bad for the guys like Zach Martin, who've put in more effort than Mike McCarthy ever has. And he specifically said it that way, and it's like, oh, this is gonna get ugly.
Oh wow,
this is gonna get ugly. And Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. What? You're not gonna be
I've been saying that since the start of the podcast, right? That guy needs to die before the Cowboys will.
He has been saying that. He's been on that for a couple years.
I've been on that. Yeah. What is it? How long have we been doing? Is this our 4th season doing this? 3rd season, something like that?
I think
fourth.
I think it's 4th.
Yeah, and so it's like
I've
been saying that
one less than the number of years we've had the league, and we're in year 5 of the league.
Oh, that's a good way to remember it. So yeah, about the Rams, I think they're still trying. I don't think they've thrown in the towel or anything like that.
No, I don't think so either.
And you hope that there's just something out there that needs to just click, and that the numbers add up at the end. That's where we're at right now.
Well, I think as you guys get healthier, to be honest, your defensive line is so good. Like, you guys are so young. You hit on Jared Verse. What's his name? Kobe, the defensive tackle, the guy that replaced Aaron Donald, like baby Aaron Donald. He was. I think he was a rookie last year. I can't remember his name right now, but I'm impressed with what you guys are doing, and if you could just get some offensive linemen back,
that'll do the trick.
But yeah, as long as Puka and Cooper Kupp stay healthy, you guys, they haven't been healthy together, but for like 6 quarters this year or something like that, and people are just like, the Rams don't look the same. It's like, well, they're kind of still in preseason mode. They haven't, everybody else has had a lot more time to play together and gel and everything. And
my problem is we're in the loss column, like this late into the season.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. The numbers got to add up at the end.
But the Falcons right in front of you are 5-5, so they haven't had their bye yet. So you're the same in the loss column as the Falcons, and the Falcons would be in the playoffs if they started today. And I believe at the end of the day they will have 6 losses in the column. So I wouldn't be worried about that. You guys still have everything right in front of you.
All right. So that's some good, comforting news for all your Ram fans out there. Let's get started with the Sunday morning picks of the day. First up, we got the Jaguars versus the Lions. The Jaguars are plus 14. The over-under is 47.5. Plus 650 is the money line. Minus 1,000. If you're betting on the Lions, I think it's safe to say start your Lions.
So there's yeah. And you don't know exactly how the Lions are going to do it. You just like the running backs are pretty much set in stone. You're going to start them,
of course.
And sometimes the ceiling can be really high, but the floor is always really high. Not worried about that. It's Jared Goff and St. Brown. And maybe
you're going to start St.
Williams.
Brown no matter what. But
you're going to start St. Brown no matter what. But they're the ones you're worried about. You're like, you can't be looking at St. Brown on your roster right now and saying, I'm expecting him to get 20 points today. Like, you're hoping he gets 20 points today.
Right, yeah.
You're hoping the game is
you're hoping he gets one of the 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Exactly. That's my point.
Before they yank him,
That's my point. And so you like, it's still, the thing is you're starting all of them because, like, Jared Goff is still going to have an efficient game. It's not going to be a game where he's not going to have like 5 interceptions or something.
Who cares if he does?
But yeah, you should, like, Jared Goff, I think will play a much better game today, a much cleaner game today. And I would still start him and St. Brown. The question is whether or not, to me, like, I probably wouldn't start Jameson Williams. I'm trying not to.
That's who I was going to ask
He's
you
got
about.
to be
because Goff and Jameson Williams are really your only questions on the Detroit side.
Well, so the other one is there's no Laporta today.
So can you emergency start the backup?
Brock Wright. It's a really good position. They like him. When he gets time to actually play, they
So
use
now,
him.
are you pointing this out for redraft, or are you pointing this out for DFS?
More DFS.
That's that sounds like a DFS.
Like, he's got to be like the minimum. So there's a couple of good tight end plays in DFS this week to me, and that one popped up late. Also, Kittle is down today.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Wait, is Kittle down for sure?
Yes.
He's out. Okay.
So I'm not sure what his backup is, but anyway, Brock Wright, if in DFS, if you're trying to save some money, it's a really good dart throw today. And then on the other side,
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's it. We're done.
Yeah, I'm a Brian Thomas owner, and I want to play Brian
start
Thomas,
Evan
but I
Ingram,
can't.
I guess.
I can't. Even then, if you have
Yeah,
to,
I wouldn't want to. I would rather rather than start Evan Ingram today, I'd rather turn to like Dawson Knox.
Oh, for sure. Who's their quarterback today? Who's
Mac Jones?
Oh, that's right. Jeez.
Mac
this
Jones.
This is going to be ugly.
And
This is
they're
gonna be so
saying
ugly.
that Trevor Lawrence might miss the rest of the regular season too. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Ugly.
It does not look good over in Jacksonville. Their defense played really well last week against Minnesota. I was surprised.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to be able to hold up today.
Yeah.
And they got to do it in the dome too.
Yeah, we've spent
in
enough time on this game, man.
I agree.
This is going to be a blowout.
We're all picking the Lions.
Lions.
Yeah.
Next up is the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. Green Bay -6, over unders 40.5. -258 if you're betting on the Packers, +210 if you're betting on the Bears. And I was just giggling about, like, you're just like, let's just move on. And it just like made me giggle.
Like we're talking about a game that doesn't matter. Like we all know that Detroit's gonna. It's like, are they gonna win by 10 or 30? Like I don't know. Somewhere in between.
I'm thinking closer to 30 than 10.
I agree.
So what I want to know about this game is, did ownership of the Bears transfer over to Jordan Love, or did Aaron Rodgers take it with him to New York? Like, are they like?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers took anything with him to New York.
It doesn't
he
look that
left
way.
all the good stuff back in Green Bay.
You know what I really? On side note, I do enjoy weekly seeing the side-by-side comparisons of starting quarterback record of the Jets the last 3 years, and looking at Zach Wilson at like 8-4 from 2022. It's really funny. It's really funny because Zach was, I still like Zach Wilson. I still think he has a future at some point.
Where is he now?
He's right behind Bo Nix. I thought he was going to play this
okay.
year. I thought for sure Wilson was going to get a chance to play this year, because I did not expect. I like Nix a lot,
Right.
but I did not expect him to be able to hold
he's-
on to the job
he's
right
definitely
away.
been a surprise,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's been a big surprise. One of the really nice surprises of the season, because people were down on quarterbacks after Caleb Williams, and like Drake May has played really well. and
So
Bo Nix
speaking of
too.
Caleb Williams in this game, like
Yeah,
what are you
exactly.
thinking about him here right now? Like he's going.
Well,
back
he
and
got
forth.
his
One
first
week I'm
coach
like,
fired.
Wow, yeah, right. But 1 week I'm like, wow, this guy, he's really got talent. He's really
Look at the
picking it up.
schedule and it makes more
And then
sense.
the next
like
week
I
it's
feel,
like,
to be
whoa.
honest with you, I feel a little dumb. I feel a little like fooled by Caleb Williams, and like to be honest, it was at like week 5 or 6 or something like that where we're looking at it, and like when you get to week 9 and look back at the schedule, it's a little clearer, a little easier to be like, oh, that was just a soft portion of the schedule.
Right.
And he played against, I think, Carolina and Jacksonville, and there was one other soft matchup that he had that he really took advantage
But
of.
still pro teams. He's a rookie. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right, but
so you're like,
but
ooh, he can do it.
Right, but he was right, and he was getting away with some of the stuff that like I was worried about in college, and I was like, just didn't think it was going to translate to the NFL, and he was going to be able to do it. Excuse me. And against the better defenses, he's not. He hasn't been able to get away with some of that stuff, and it's the frustration you can see in his teammates. Like he had DJ Moore just flat out ignore him when he was trying to talk to him after a play. Apparently, there were players who went to Coach Eberflus and wanted him benched before they fired Shane Waldron.
Wow.
Yeah, they wanted Tyson Bagent to play.
Wow.
Which is a name to know. Like if you've forgotten about Tyson Bagent, he has had a couple opportunities and he has balled out. And and if you don't know, he's the one whose dad is the arm wrestling champion.
Oh, right. I remember seeing that on the
So
Hard
he's got
Knocks, yeah.
pedigree. But anyway, yeah, I like that kid, and I actually thought the Bears could have done some other things to build up their roster before taking a shot at quarterback, and like considering they had this kid on the roster, just give him a shot real quick and take the best tackle in the draft. Trade down. They could have traded down in a quarterback heavy draft, picked up some future picks, from one of these teams that they knew was going to be bad again, Like, they could have gotten the Patriots to trade up or something like that, gotten the Patriots next year's first, gone back a couple of spots, got the best tackle in the draft. If the quarterback doesn't work out this year, take the best quarterback next year. You've got a growing wall in front of them now. But anyway,
It's just hard to tell your fans, we're going to lose one more year, guys.
I don't know, when they've lost for 40 years, like they get kind of used to it, I think. But
Got to give them that hope, man.
But anyway, so all of that was a long way of saying, color me concerned about what's happening in Chicago right now. And I don't necessarily think that he's going to get like an instant shot in the arm. And I mean, of course, because I have him in the 2 redraft leagues where I'm having just a terrible season this year. And I have chosen I have him and Bo Nix in both of those leagues and have chosen to start Bo Nix over him. And so he's for sure going to go off today against the Packers. And I'm for sure going to be wrong when I pick the Packers to win this game. But because I think he may have just decided he's going to do whatever it is that makes me wrong about him. Because I'm that important. No. One thing that I think is important for people to know is that Rome Odunze really has caught up to Keenan Allen in targets. And so if you're telling me that Rome Odunze and Keenan Allen are going to have the same amount of targets, I am starting Rome Odunze. I'm going to take the upside of Rome Odunze because he gets end zone targets and he's just more dangerous than Keenan Allen. If Keenan Allen's not getting you 10, 11 targets a game, he's really not valuable for your fantasy team most weeks. So I think that's actionable news.
Yeah.
Going the rest of the way, they have some good matchups. So I've picked up Odunze in a couple of spots and tried to trade for him in Dynasty, so that you do it before he goes off and has a really, because I do think that he's the 3rd best receiver out of this draft class, 4th best actually I should say out of this draft class.
Odunze is?
Yeah,
Behind Brian Thomas?
No, Thomas is 5.
Oh, okay.
I think he's better than Brian Thomas. I like him better than Brian Thomas.
So who are you? Sorry, just go ahead and go your top 3 real quick.
Oh, A.D. Mitchell's number 1.
Wow. Okay, that was the surprise. I was like, I know there's a surprise in there right now because there's something weird happening. Okay.
And we'll get to talk about him in a minute. I'm excited about
All right.
that.
Well, here I like Green Bay. I think that the Bears, they're at home. This is a divisional game. You just never know. That defense is good, but
it's rainy too.
And so sloppy game too.
And Jordan Love played horrible in the rain against Detroit a couple weeks ago. So I'm a little concerned about that. So I'm picking the Packers because the Packers are the better team. The Packers should win this game.
Agreed. But we're worried. That's fair. Okay.
You're also picking the Packers too, right?
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
Where's Bezzy at? We don't know.
Oh, there he is. He picked Lions and Packers. He came in late.
I got you, buddy.
What's
You
up,
start
brother?
at 8:30, Bezzy?
Good morning.
We start at 8:30?
Ish.
Need you to start showing up on time?
You can expect a fine.
Next up, we got the Ravens versus the Steelers. The Ravens are -3. The over-under is 48. -175 if you're betting on the Ravens. +145 if you're betting on the Steelers.
Yeah, and like I said, we talked up this game a little bit.
This is the game of the
beginning,
weekend, right? This is the game. Second. Actually, is it this one or is it the afternoon one?
Right, which is weird. Again, like, why is that not the night game?
It's a good slate, to be honest with you.
There are.
This
a lot
is
of
a
games
good
today.
slate of games. Like, this is a really awesome weekend. I'm like,
I was looking at that when I
even
was
the
making
bad
it.
games.
I was like, oh.
There's one game where there's 2 teams that are just out of it basically, and even that one, I'm super excited to see what happens because of like fantasy stuff that's going on in that game, and that's Cleveland and New Orleans. This is the worst game on the slate, and I'm still excited to watch that one. And
There's still things going on.
for pieces that are
I'm starting Jameis Winston. I mean,
I think everybody should be.
right. And in this game, you can start Russell Wilson, which isn't something
should be.
that you've been you've been thinking about this year, as far as redraft
The
goes.
last couple of weeks, you should have been starting Russell Wilson.
Well, you could have started Russell Wilson the last couple of weeks, it turns out. But I mean, to have that kind of confidence, I didn't like. I wouldn't be looking to start him the last 2 weeks. But this week, I'm like, okay. Even though it's the Ravens defense, the Ravens is a pass funnel defense. We're going to get the air yards this week. So Russell is going to have like a high baseline. And hell, man, if he throws another 3 touchdowns, then he's going to have a heck of a game today.
I expect him to have a heck of a game today. I expect this to be an actual, like, traditionally you think of these two teams getting together and you think of like 16-13, 13-7.
And something in my gut tells me that it is going to be more defensive than what people think.
But
You're right. Everything on paper, all the stats, everything makes sense that this is going to be a high-flying, high-scoring game.
Yes,
but
you
but
guys
they never are.
You guys are right. You guys are right. That's true. That's true.
That's all I'm saying.
These guys know each other.
Yeah.
Like Harbaugh and Tomlin have been coaching against each other for 16 years now. Something like that.
Something like that.
It's crazy. It's been a really long rivalry, and they're always close. So it's difficult. But I honestly think the Ravens are going to be a little too much for you guys today.
Oh, and that's why Vegas has them favored. You know what I mean? We're at home and they're
you guys
favored.
are at home. Yeah. But
I mean, so Vegas definitely agrees with you.
Their offense has been relentless.
Oh, it's good.
It's so good. It's like when in the offseason, when they got Derrick Henry, and
scary.
The only thing that people were concerned about is the fact that Henry's 30. That was it.
Right.
If Henry had been 27, like, I don't know, the league might have vetoed the. But like
you're cheating.
They might not have allowed it to happen. Like,
right.
It might have been one of those deals where people found out Baltimore was in the bidding war for Derrick Henry, and a bidding war actually happened to prevent it from happening because it's just too good. And well, it worked. It's working. And like, he hasn't stopped Lamar Jackson from being effective on the ground. Lamar Jackson hasn't stopped him from scoring. Like, what does he have? 15 touchdowns this year, or something like
ridiculous,
that. It's insane. I think he has 4 or 5 games with 2 touchdowns or more. It's crazy. Just an unbelievable season. And the only thing is, like, you get these little like outbursts from Zay Flowers, and then he's just quiet again. And that part has got to be like, it's funny. Like, I talked about Zay Flowers a lot when he was getting drafted. I compared him to Antonio Brown. I was a really, really, really big fan. I wanted you guys to draft him. I said, you guys really should draft this guy. And I feel right about that. But it's just, their offense just does not require
wide receivers.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's like, they're nice.
Yeah.
And we'll use them every once in a while, but their offense doesn't flow through their wide receivers.
Correct.
The running game and just like chunk plays.
And double tight ends, and they're hard
Andrews.
to defend. And I'm glad we've got one of the best defenses in the NFL this week, because we're going to need it. We are missing Highsmith on one side, but we do have 2 quality backups.
Should be out for a couple weeks too, so the Steelers are a little underpowered again in the pass rush.
But we do have 2 high quality backups on that side. Herbig, and then we acquired somebody.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I forget his name too, but
solid dude.
And he'll be playing behind Herbig, who played really well this year when he came in. So I'm not super concerned about that. I mean, nice to have him out there. Don't get me wrong, but I still think
want
we'll
to have all your studs against Lamar Jackson.
Of course, but I still think we'll have a good pass rush going on here. And
I think the game's still going to be close.
It's going to be very close.
I think the Ravens are going to win. And
right. What do you think,
You
Greg?
get the lone wolf on your guy.
I got Ravens.
All right.
Bezzy too.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Steelers.
Next up, we got the Vikings versus the Titans. Vikings are -6. Over-under's 40. -290 if you're betting on the Vikings. +235 if you're betting on the Titans.
This is the game you don't have to watch today, I think. Like, you can just kind of skip it. You like start the pieces that are important to start, but you don't want to watch this game. It's not going to be pretty.
That's fair. I'm just curious. Like, I want to know will the real Sam Darnold please stand up? You know what I mean?
I think he did last week. Did you see last week's game against Jacksonville?
I saw bits.
It was horrible.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He pumpkined last week, right?
It was bad.
It was,
but that's like 3 weeks, 3 out of 4, where he's not played well.
Right, but you look at the season and the first 6-7 weeks he played so great. So
We've seen that before.
I'm curious. Titans are at home. Titans have a good defense. They've got no
The best
offense,
pass
but
defense in the league, actually.
and that's what I'm saying. So I'm really kind of curious how Sam Darnold handles it. The Vikings should handle the Titans today. They should.
Little concerned about
I'm gonna-
Justin Jefferson today because they've really handled.
number one wide receivers, huh?
They've got Snead.
Yeah.
And Darnold's not playing well. So I'm excited about Hawkinson.
I was going to say Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Yep. He's been getting a lot of targets. He's still only about 50% in the snaps, but I do expect that to go up. And it's like when he's in there, he's targeted.
He had 9 targets last week and 8 catches and made a great catch.
Yeah,
He
was
looked-
something like 30-something percent
looks
of
athletic.
the targets when he was in the game.
So- Yeah. So if Hawkinson has been like, if you're someone who has had him floated to you in a deal or something like that, and you were thinking about taking it, but you weren't sure, do it. If it was close and the only thing you were worried about was whether Hawkinson was going to return to form, do it. Absolutely. I've tried, I was really a little bummed that Kittle's not playing today because I have this one league where I'm kind of like rebuilding on the fly. My team kind of became more competitive faster than I expected because I've got Tillman and Josh Downs and Tyrone Tracy, and so they just started scoring points.
They're working.
It's working, And Mayfield, Baker Mayfield was a quarterback that I was bought in cheap.
Just a lot of little
year.
pleasant surprises.
Yeah. So the team is borderline competitive, and I have Kittle as one of the pieces. Kittle's tight end 1, and my plan for the whole season was to sell him at the point where he starts, because he always has a chunk of games where he plays really well, and just goes off. Kittle over the last 4 games is just tight end 1. He's tight end 1 by X amount of points per game. It seems like it happens every year, and so that was my plan, trying to turn him into Hawkinson right now. And I think that's, if you're a dynasty player, that's a good plan to have. This is a difficult game to call. I want to pick the Vikings, but if Darnold plays the way that he played against Jacksonville, Tennessee will win.
Yeah.
Tennessee is a better team than Jacksonville is right now.
I'm gonna I'm gonna stick with the Vikings one more time. I really think that this is a good team, a great defense.
They are a great defense. But I think the Titans are starting to find themselves a little bit, a little addition by subtraction, and then you have Calvin Ridley acting like an alpha number 1 and demanding the ball. And Calvin Ridley is averaging 20 points a game over the last month.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was up there that high.
Yes. If Will Levis is going to get him, catchable balls, this is a team that has some interesting pieces on them.
Well, but that's also interesting too, is that it's Will Levis again and not Mason, right?
I love Will Levis.
So no, I hear you, but Mason was the one that was getting him all those points.
No, Levis has been back for 2 weeks, or he was back last week, I think. He played last week.
I thought Mason.
Okay. Yeah, Levis played last week.
Not paying a whole lot of attention to the Titans. Sorry.
And he played last week. He looked pretty good. So that's the thing I'm most interested in this game is how Levis looks. To me, you're more interested in Darnold.
Yeah.
And to me, I think Darnold is a solid quarterback. But I think to me he's just like a replacement level quarterback. I think he's kind of proven that a little bit by the way he's played down to some of the competition, because it's not just Jacksonville. Was it who'd they play recently? One of the 2 losses was really, really bad. I'll get that in a second.
So are you really picking against him here? I mean, I know you're worried about the Titans, but are you picking the Titans?
I am going to pick the Titans. I'm looking
say,
over
you
here
have the jersey on, right?
Yeah, that's true. I do. And then I think you guys are all on the Vikings.
Yeah, I am for sure.
You
too, Ray?
And that's what I was looking at. I was like, you know what? This feels like a good lone wolf opportunity. Yeah. The Titans are at home. The Vikings are not playing well. They won last week, but they probably didn't deserve that victory. And this team is a team that's on the rise, in my opinion, and that's Tennessee. I like what Tennessee's doing. I think they're going to win today.
All right.
Next up is the Raiders versus the Dolphins. Raiders are +8, over-unders 43.5, +330 if you're betting on the Raiders, and -425 if you're betting on the Dolphins.
Yeah, hard to bet on the Raiders at this point, isn't it?
The Dolphins right now to me are that meme. If you've seen it, like it's just like it's a stick figure and he's holding a stick and he's poking a stick figure that's on the ground and he's just like, do something.
Yeah,
like that's how I feel about the Dolphins right now. Everybody but Achan is just like, come on,
Yeah.
do something. And I'm at the point now where I'm like, I've started to sell my like Jalen Waddle shares. I have Jalen Waddle in like 3 leagues in Dynasty, and I've started like I made a deal yesterday that brought back Ricky Pearsall. I turned Waddle into Pearsall, and I feel good about that. And it's like let's say like this time last year, no way that would have happened. No way like you would have accepted like just a first for Jalen Waddle with what they were doing and where you expected the future to be. But now it's like, we don't know how long Tua is going to play football because every single week he does something like, since he's come back, he does something that is like causes the entire media to question if he would do that again. Right. And he goes, well, yeah, I would. So you don't know, like, it's just like, what's that? What was that movie, Scary Movie, back in the day, where they had that the Billy Bob character from Varsity Blues, and he had just had like a bunch of concussions and like whatever, and he had blood coming from his ears, and he was drinking out of an empty cup that he didn't know it didn't have anything in it, and it's just like I kind of feel that way about Tua right now,
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I have no idea what's happening with this team long term, like short term.
But short term, they're playing the Raiders this week.
The Raiders are sneaky good on defense.
They were supposed to be this year, but
they have been. They actually have pretty high defensive ratings. And have been
they get over 30
doing
points
well against receivers. The Raiders can't score, so
no. Their defense in fantasy didn't one game they have like over 30 points
last year.
Was that last year?
That was that game, that crazy game against the Chargers last year. Remember they?
Going back to last year, gone. I don't hold memories that long, brother.
You don't remember that crazy game on like Thursday night where they scored 56 points?
His memories become instinct.
Remember it was like it was year before last year. I think it was actually the year before last year because Eckler was still on that team. So it's been a while.
Oh.
The Raiders don't do good things very often, and yeah.
So you remember when they do it? Okay,
yeah. So they stick out when they do. The only good things the Raiders are doing right now are Brock Bowers. That dude's awesome. That was a good pick. Like that guy was too good to not take.
Agreed. Now, quick side note here. This week, would you play Brock Bowers?
Yes.
Or Travis Kelce?
Bowers.
Play Bowers over Kelce?
Yeah. There's, honestly, I might start McBride over Bowers. I might start Kittle over Bowers in certain matchups, but Kittle's a little banged up right now.
Right.
So like that was as of like last week. Like right now, there's just like McBride is the only tight end I want to start over Brock Bowers because McBride. I don't know if you watched McBride's hurdle last week.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to have him in Dynasty.
The funny thing is my choices for a tight end this week. This is my guillotine league, so this is a bit of a dream league. But
if it's your guillotine league, then you definitely ride with Bowers.
I have choice between Kelce, Kittle, Bowers, and McBride. Like the top 4.
Yeah, well, McBride's on bye, so you can't do that.
Right.
So I would Bowers.
So Bowers,
absolutely, yeah. That's where I'm at. They're going to be down in this game.
Now, who do you think is the safest? Is Bowers the safest? Is Bowers safer than Kelce?
Define safe. How many points is safe?
I'm hoping if I get 10 points out of this
10
spot,
points, Kelce is safer because there's no way that the Bills will be able to game plan. Like nobody's able to game plan Kelce out to the point where he's not going to score 10 points. I wouldn't expect him to score 10 points. But if you're telling me like 14 is the like what you really need, like Bowers makes more sense to me. Because in order for him not to do it, we'd have to get to the end of the day and go, wow, the Dolphins had a really good game plan to take Bowers out of the game.
Right.
And he had like 2 targets and no catches. But if he has a normal game, I expect his game to be better than Kelsey's.
Gotcha.
And I'm more confident that he'll score. That's the thing that has been missing from like what we kind of expected to happen with Kelsey. It was that when Rashee Rice went down and when Pacheco went down, was that like, all right, well, Kelsey's just going to get all the scoring opportunities now too. It's not even just the targets are going to go up. It's like they're going to have to use Kelsey in the red zone, but they're not using him the way that they used to do, like with those little shovel passes, and they'd figure out some weird way to get him the ball in chaos, and he'd just score. That's not happening. They're not looking for him to make the play when they get down there. So I would much rather play Brock Bowers. I think the ceiling is just higher.
Yeah.
I think the floor is probably slightly lower.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Well, and that's my situation. Is I'm projected 165, and my next closest is 136. And the bottom one being 116. So I'm projected just.
I try not to put
light
too
years
much into
above.
those.
Well,
like for me, it's more
just-
about matchups.
Right.
Like if you've got those kind of projections and your matchups are all like green, because they're all
McCaffrey
insanely
and
good.
Chase and Mixon
Oh yeah,
and
McCaffrey
Achane.
had 16 points without scoring last week, so he's good for 25ish this week. You can kind of just punch that in. So
anyway, sorry. Enough about my team there.
Jacoby Myers is another person you can start.
Yes.
The Raiders did do the fake out, and we had about 12 hours of thinking that Desmond Ridder was going to start this weekend, but no, it's going to
Which makes you say, "Oh my God, they're packing it in! Holy crap, what's happening?"
But it's going to be Minshew.
Yeah.
Minshew will start. And then, on the Dolphins side, I think it's the interesting thing to me. The most interesting thing to me is like you're still starting the Dolphins guys. If you like, is based
Except
on where you got
probably
him, like I am sitting Waddle in some spots. Like he's become the third/flex, but that's a really good flex to have. So you're probably starting him and Tyreek Hill, and definitely Achane. But you can't start Mostert anymore.
You got to sit Mostert for now.
You have to sit Mostert now.
He's just not getting enough of that
and
offense.
we're saying
Before
that
he
he's
was
going to
getting
get we're saying that he's going to get 4 carries and 2 touchdowns today.
for sure. But that's the thing is he hasn't been getting a lot of the goal line work. That's been his bag. That's what he like last year.
Well,
he
they
had how
haven't
many
been
touchdowns?
they haven't been doing a good job of getting
There's
inside
that too.
the 5-yard
There's
line.
that too.
And that's
the whole
where
Miami
Mostert really
offense
cleaned
just
up.
hasn't really gotten rolling again, or actually rolling this
They
year.
just get,
have
they
So-
get down to about the 25 and just stall. It's really, really interesting. I don't know what's going on. And Tyreek Hill says that the wrist injury isn't bothering him to the point where like he can't play. Like it's something that's going to have to be dealt with. But I don't know.
I don't know, but I think we'll get a lot of answers today against the Raiders here, and
I think so too.
I think Miami starts to put it together a little bit. Give me the Dolphins.
I'm taking the Dolphins too, but I don't know that they're going to get it together today. I'm still concerned. I'm like trying. I'm trying not to play them. I almost in my half PPR dynasty, like where I'm 10-0. I'm on the fence of playing Tyreek Hill. Like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I've got over him. I'm going to play Tillman for sure, and then I've got Ramondre Stevenson, and let's see who else do I have in this.
So you're a braver person than I am. I'd start Hill there.
And then I have, Cooper Kupp and Nico Collins are the other spots.
Yeah, and those two I'd probably start over him. But other than that, I think
Stevenson is really the one, and he's at home against LA today, against the Rams. So I'm playing, and that's the one. I'm like, we're 30 minutes away. I have to make my decision, but right now, Tyreek Hill's on my bench.
Wow. Yeah, I guess it depends on what you need. Like if you just need a solid floor, I guess you can go Stevenson there. But man, I would.
And that's the thing
I'd
is
hate
like
to lose with Hill on my bench.
this team has
put up
Saquon
40
Barkley
points.
and Derrick Henry, and
Okay.
and I have
Yeah,
Saquon already
so
scored
you're in a
33
good
points.
spot.
Yeah, and I can't. I don't want to have like a 4-point performance, and I won't get that out of Ramondre at home against the Rams today. I don't think.
Okay, so like Ken said, it's now 9:28. We got 3 more games to get through before the afternoon games. First one is the Rams versus the Patriots. Rams are, let me see, where you at? -4. 42.5 is the over-under. -198 if you're betting on the Rams. +164 if you're betting on the Patriots.
So I would take the Patriots to cover those points today.
Wow.
I
think it's not going to be that close a game.
I do. I do.
All right.
It's in New England.
Okay.
I've
I've got a little
West
more
Coast
faith in the
team.
Rams, man. Come
No,
on.
the Rams are going to win, but I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I don't like taking points that are
New England's defense
less than a touchdown.
So going into last week, we were talking about how I brought up how Gerard Mayo called his team out for being soft, and then they went out and wrecked the Bears. And remember, I was like, I'm inclined. I almost picked the Patriots to win that game because I kind of expected that. I was more on the side of that happening than on the side of the Bears being able to just like run over the Patriots because they just chose not to stand up. So I expect this to be a tough game for the Rams today. I don't expect this to be a very high scoring game. Like I think you're talking like the Rams win like 21-16, 21-17, something like that. 21-20 even.
All right. What was the over-under on the game? Do you have
4.
4? No.
The over-under is 42.5.
42 and
Yeah,
a half. Okay. So, yeah.
So if they both score 20 or less, you're right in that ballpark.
So, yeah. Take the under. I can see that.
But I am going to pick the Rams today.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Rams. I don't know. I think they'll have a good win here today.
Something that people should know is Kayshon Boutte is actually leading the team in targets over the last month, not Demario Douglas.
Oh, is that why he's in my DraftKings lineup?
And so, this guy, so smart. Yeah, so that's something to know. I think we're getting to a point where we're getting close to where you can start like thinking about starting Patriots players because like you're starting them in DFS today.
Drake May has definitely been a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
I mean, he's the real deal. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the league, and yeah, we're going to see him put some things together.
To me, if there was a Josh Allen type in the draft this year, it was Drake May. And he's been showing that too with his ability to run, like his willingness to scramble and his ability to take hits in the pocket. And
I'll admit I haven't watched a lot of Patriots games, but I thought I pictured him more of a pocket passer. He scrambles a lot.
No, he's a very good scrambler.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very dangerous man.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't got to see him play a lot. So.
Oh, you should. He's fun. Yeah. Ray's gonna watch him today.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we moving on?
Yes, sir.
Colts versus the Jets. Colts, we got +4. Over under is 43, +170. If you're the over, it's 4.5 now. The just changed right in front of me. +185 if you're betting on the Colts. -225 if you're betting on the Jets.
There's always something in the
Jets.
week that sticks out to me as just particularly hilarious. You know, from like the talking heads. You know, and this week it was a particular person's inability to figure out where the Jets were in their schedule, like assuming that they had been on bye last week.
Oh,
because they didn't show up. Like they just didn't they did not make the flight to the desert. So I don't know what's going on with the Jets. I don't like they should just the Colts are getting Anthony Richardson back. So
honestly, what's going on with the Jets defense? The Jets defense is supposed to be so good, and ever since Saleh left, they haven't been great. What is going on? They've got so much talent.
They've been soft against the run, and when you're not solid against the run, it really doesn't matter how good you are against the pass, because the offense will be able to manipulate you into a situation where you're not prepared to defend a pass, right. You know, because you have to overload for the run. And so it's last week really surprised me,
dude,
that Kyler was able to do that to them. I just did not in any world did I see
had
that
Kyler on my bench. Shocked me.
We did talk about that during
games.
It was pretty funny. So I don't know what to expect in this game. Like, it's weird because like we're at a point now where it's like we're like 3 weeks past the point of like, all right, this is the part where the Jets wake up and just start playing the football we expect them to play. Right now, this is just kind of who they are.
Call me stupid, but I'm giving them one more chance. I'm going to pick them again this week. I feel like they have to get it together somewhat.
I would be like somewhat inclined to pick the Colts if they were at home, but I'm not going to pick them to win in New York. I'm not going to pick Anthony Richardson to win in New York. It feels like the Colts. The only thing the best thing that Jets have going for them this week is the Colts might actually quietly be more dysfunctional than they are, like with what's going on with their quarterback situation. Right. And like this, just honestly, like unless they're gonna go out and run Anthony Richardson like fucking 12 times on QB sweeps and stuff like that, I really don't understand why you would throw him back in now. That let Flacco take one more beating against the Jets.
I did think he'd get one more start. Yeah.
Then bring him back.
Yeah, I did think he'd get one more.
So I don't. That's I don't understand. And I'm pretty sure the Colts.
But Flacco did play pretty bad last week, so
he played very bad.
Yeah,
he played bad for 2 consecutive weeks and made his coach look really dumb for saying that he was going to be the quarterback going forward.
Tough defenses, but no, I agree.
And so I can't. There's no way I could pick the Colts. Like the Colt. What I do want to talk about before we leave this game though is that Adonai Mitchell finally got some targets. With Michael Pittman out of the way, looked awesome. Like, all right. I'm very, very excited about Adonai Mitchell.
Mitchell lover over here.
I am.
Are you going Jets or Colts?
Jets.
Okay. All right. Next up, we got the Browns versus the Saints. The Browns are -1. Over-under's 44. -115 if you're betting on the Browns. -105 if you're betting on the Saints.
Who cares?
Let's go Browns.
You got Browns?
Oh, yeah.
I'll take Browns.
I'm taking the Browns.
Oh, I'll lone wolf this game.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Nope. Betsy's got Saints too, right? Or are you putting us on the wrong side?
Yeah, I am right now.
Okay.
I still haven't really considered Bezzy as. Otherwise,
that's funny.
Otherwise, it's like all our lone wolves would
It's gonna be really hard to get a.
Yeah. Well, I usually look. I'm usually looking for all of you guys to be there, so I count you, Bezzy. I count.
Yeah, I mean, I count you, sort of. All right, so, are we not talking about the game, or are we just going to move on from it?
We're in a hurry. We can move on. This is a good one to skip.
Was there... Yeah, I don't think there's anything particularly important to say about this game. Like, I'm not going to tell anybody to do anything with MVS. Leave him leave him right where he is. Like, let someone else hold that stick of dynamite.
And Jameis Winston, is worth a stream this week. I'm doing it personally.
Start your Browns.
Yeah.
Start your Browns. You can start, and I mean all of them. You can
you can start Chubb, and you can see.
I would say everybody, but I think Chubb's gonna have it. I said this last week, and he did get the work.
Yeah,
he did get the work.
We'll see how healthy he is this week.
If Chubb gets the same amount of carries that he got last week, I'm predicting a 100-yard game for him today. Okay. And then I think Jameis is gonna stick it to him. I think this is a game where the Browns score over 30 points, and you're just happy that you started anybody wearing their jersey today, other than Jerome Ford. But I would start Njoku, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Tillman is those
Tillman for sure.
Tillman, Njoku, and Nick Chubb and Winston to me are
good
absolute starts. They should be started in essentially all leagues, like one quarterback or two. For Winston, one quarterback leagues, he's still a starter. And then I think you can flex guys like Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore.
Better try not to though. Those aren't. You don't want to be going.
They're playing well.
You don't want to be going there.
Don't listen to this guy. They're playing well, and the Browns are throwing on like 70% of their plays. It's Jameis time, dude. and Jameis has made stars out of receivers before.
For sure.
Like he was the one that led Chris Godwin to his number 2 overall season in 2019. That was Jameis, not Tom Brady. I think that not just Cedric Tillman. I think Cedric Tillman is a superstar, but I also think that one or the other, Jerry Jeudy or Elijah Moore, is also going to be a guy that we're talking like next year we're drafting as though he's like a top 24-ish guy. Because the way I see it happening is like I think they like Jameis a lot. Like I follow him, and he has the support of that locker room for sure. And so if they play well the rest of the season, like I could definitely see a scenario where Jameis Winston is a starting quarterback for the Browns going into next year. And if Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback for the Browns going into next year, we are definitely talking about Cedric Tillman as a top 15 guy, and one of these other two guys is a top 24 guy. I believe that. That's like,
All right.
put it on the board right now.
All right. Ken's excited about
Starts
this one.
today. Let's go Browns.
All right.
Yeah.
And start Kamara on the other side, and that's about it. Moving on.
Next up, we got the Seahawks. Oh, no, we got DraftKings. So I'll go first once mine's pulled up. That's it for the morning games. We'll go ahead and read our DraftKings lineups and then get started in the afternoon games. So I'll start us off. I already have it pulled up. I got Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. I got Achane as my running back, McCaffrey. And the wide receiver from New England, I'm happy to say that you guys they're starting to put in a little work there, is Bout. Boutte. Boutte. And then Samuel Sr., Debo, right? And then Shakir I have him also in our League of Records, Shakir. He puts up 10 points usually a game. With all those, I was able to afford Travis Kelce and Jay Smith for Miami as my flex. But with nothing left, I had to go with the Titans defense.
Yeah. And we have some overlap here because Titans defense 2,300 is a bit of a bargain. Like we talked about Sam Darnold, and we don't, he could pumpkin again this week. So I do have Titans in there cheap. I went also with the same running backs, McCaffrey and Achane. They do seem to be kind of obvious choices this week. They look to have great games. Hard to avoid those two. I decided to go with a Russell Wilson stack. I went Russell Wilson to George Pickens. Like I say, Baltimore is the 32nd ranked against the pass against wide receivers. So, I mean, that's where you can get Baltimore's in the air, and Pickens has just been on fire lately.
How much was Pickens?
7,000, so a little bit pricey.
A little pricey, yeah.
So to get my high-priced people, I went with Boutte as well, 3,500. He is a bargain. And Jacoby Myers is also a bargain at 5,600. He's just been getting the work. At tight end, I decided to go with like you're talking. There's a few $2,500 tight ends that you can really go with this week, and it makes sense. But I decided with my cash, and that's what I did with my tournament lineup. But with my cash lineup here, I decided to go a little safer, and I went with Dawson Knox. With Kincaid out and Buffalo playing against the worst tight end defense in the NFL, believe it or not, is Kansas City. Dawson Knox is going to get forced some targets today, so I think 3,500. He's going to be a good deal. My flex, I got another high-priced person with Kareem Hunt.
Nice.
Should be good in that same game there.
He's just killing it.
And then, I already told you my defense.
Alrighty. So, got some overlap with both of you guys. I've got Aaron Rodgers at 5,500 as quarterback.
I thought that was like a stupid play, but all right.
I'm that's actually I'm surprised. All right.
So, Aaron Rodgers was cheaper than Justin Fields.
That's funny.
And all he does is throw the ball. I mean,
Yeah, that is true.
So, yeah, I've got Aaron Rodgers at running back. I've got CMC because we are now at the point where if CMC doesn't cost you $10K, then he's too cheap.
Yeah. It's that time of year,
in my opinion. That's how I feel about CMC. Like at 8,300, he has the chance to give you 5x on your money. And then I've got Bijan at 7,800.
Okay.
Bijan has been awesome. He is the regret that I have for this season in terms of redraft. Like after week 1 in our league of record, Chris had Puka go down. He's Chris always changes his name. But anyway, he was the one who won in season 1.
Okay.
He had Puka go down, and I felt like an abundance of receivers, but I needed a more. I wanted a more studly RB1, and he had Breece Hall and Bijan, and Puka was his only receiver essentially. Like he after Puka hit, like if you remember, so this is the roster we talked about that was stars and scrubs. Mm-hmm. And like all of his money was spent on like 4 guys, and one of those guys was Puka. And so he had some scrubs behind him, and so I was like, I'm going to take advantage and get one of these running backs. And I chose to go after Breece Hall. And I feel like I'd be having a very different season if I had just not made the trade and won the next couple of weeks with Ramondre Stevenson and Rashee Rice on my team before Rice got hurt. Right. Or B, chosen Bijan instead. Yeah. So yeah,
hindsight, huh?
Yeah. So Bijan's so like the point in saying that is Bijan is finally having the season that we knew he was capable of. It's happening now, midway through his second season. And then to pair with Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to take Devontae.
Okay.
Devontae is getting more targets than Garrett Wilson. He's been doing less with them, but I figure at some point that's going to
change.
Yeah, it's going to figure itself out. Like he'll probably come down a little bit in targets. Like Aaron Rodgers is probably over targeting him a little bit, but they'll be more efficient, I think, at some point. And then he's still too cheap to me. Like until this guy gets up to like $6K, Ricky Pearsall is somebody that you should just be starting right now because he is a part of the offense. It's not just random that he's getting auxiliary targets or something like that. They are running plays to get him the football in scoring positions. So I love Ricky Pearsall. Like I said, in one of my leagues I turned Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton into him, Ricky Pearsall, and Zach Charbonnet. So obviously Ricky Pearsall is the gem of that trade for me, and I feel like I stole. Like that's how highly I think of this guy going forward.
So buying in on him.
Yeah. Well, the 49ers are just that, right? I mean, when was the last time they missed on a receiver? Even the guys that leave their team go to other teams and become successful, like third receivers and punt returners and stuff like that. But anyway, and then my third receiver is obviously Cedric Tillman at 5,300 at the Saints. That's just who are kind of helpless right now and traded away their only good cornerback. I've also got Dawson Knox at tight end, and then my flex is Audric Estime at $4,500. He stole all of Javonte Williams' rushing work. And now the thing that gives me pause is that this is a Sean Payton offense, and Sean Payton likes to mix and match his running backs and will use them for specific abilities that they have.
And Estime is not a pass catcher.
He's not a pass catcher at all. He's a big bruising running back.
Yeah.
So if we think that the Broncos are going to, use him as more of a consistent hammer and like that's going to be part of their attack, he's going to be good going forward. But I have my reservations as to maybe this was just how he wanted to use him in this game. And I don't necessarily just think that he's going to get 12 to 14 carries a game. I don't automatically think that. We hope that. And I'm going to play, and I'm going to play like that's going to happen.
Yeah, and honestly, I almost took Estime as well.
4,500, you got to.
Yeah, I almost for 4,500. My only thought was he's not catching the passes, so now you're not going to be happy unless he gets a touchdown or over 100 yards. I agree. One of those two things has to happen.
And for $4,500, it's a good bet, though.
Okay.
Yeah. At $4,500 on a running back that you are projecting to have more than 10 carries it's too cheap. And then I've got the Dolphins at 3K because I had a little more money than you guys did at the end of the line. So the Dolphins are at home against the Las Vegas Raiders, who had to bench their second quarterback and put in Desmond Ridder. And so we have no idea what's going on with the Raiders. I think it's a good start. The Dolphins defense, and also the Dolphins defense in redraft going forward is a really good defense to have. Like if you want to get ready for the playoffs.
Good matchups.
Yeah.
All right. Just real quick on the tournament lineup.
I have one of those too.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just real quick. Jameis Winston is my quarterback. Pairing him up with Tillman.
How much was Jameis?
Jameis was 5,500. So same as Aaron Rodgers there. Alvin Kamara is my bring back on the other side. Decided to go with some David Montgomery. Going to bet he gets the touchdowns. Jacoby Myers, again, is still too cheap. I went with him. I took my chances with Garrett Wilson on the other side of that tandem this time. I think Adams being in there is actually good for Wilson. My tight end for 2,500 is D. Allen from the Rams.
Davis Allen.
Is it Dave? It's
not Dennis Allen.
That's what I always think Dennis Allen. And
Yeah,
so
but
like,
Davis
okay,
Allen,
D.
$2,500. And he's one of those cheap plays you can make at tight end this week.
And then Kareem Hunt, stuck with him. He's got a great matchup. And plus, this is his last week as the starter. They have already
Possibly.
said Pacheco. I just got an alert saying Pacheco is playing next week. He's ready to go. So, I mean, who knows what that is, but that's what it said.
We'll see. Those things can change by Wednesday.
So,
when he's like
so Hunt is going to get used today. And then for DST, I went with the Steelers. The Steelers at 2,500. Yes, we are playing the Ravens. Yes, the number one.
That's ballsy.
And this is also tournament, but it's also one of the best defenses in the league. They're averaging 9.8 points a game, and they're only 2,500.
So I actually looked this up last night. The Steelers this season in standard scoring have scored less than 9 points once. One time. That is an awesome,
right?
Like if you could get 9 points out of your flex or your tight end every single week, if you could just write that in, you would absolutely take it. You wouldn't even play with it. If you told me before the season, for the next 14 weeks, I can take one of these slots and I'm going to get 9+ points, and it's going to be like defense, flex, or my tight end, I would absolutely just take it.
Yep,
just take it. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's
the low bar.
Exactly.
That's the low
and that's
bar.
why at 2,500, I'm like, they're in my lineup.
So, my team, I've got. I'm staying away from that defense because I'm stacking guys in this game on mine. I went Russ at 5,900. Stacking it with him at receiver. I've got both of his guys with George Pickens and Mike Williams for a combined 11,000.
All right.
And then stacking against them, I've got Derrick Henry at 81 and Zay Flowers at 6,900. And then my other running back is CMC again, because like I said, at his price point, when he's at 8,300, he could actually bring back 5x on his return. He scored 40+ points twice last year. And then I've also got Ricky Pearsall in this one because he's just too cheap. And if he has a monster game, he could easily bring back 5x. I've also got Davis Allen at 2,500, and this was the one where I chose to start the Titans defense at 2,300.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it's 9:51. We got to fly through the rest of the games here. Let's just.
Well, there's only 3 more games
to go here.
Well, we picked all the morning games.
6 more games to go.
We picked all the morning games, so let's get through them.
Let's just pick them quick. I'm just saying, the Ravens and the Steelers, man.
Thanks for hanging out with us,
guys. Just real quick, while my mind's on it, you picked D. Allen from the Rams, and I know Sean McVay, and I know he was a cheap pick. I'm just throwing this out there as something I've noticed. They don't really utilize their tight ends all that much. They do
not enough. It's a little maddening because it's effective when they do, and they just don't do it very much.
They just don't do it very much. I don't know. Yeah. Even since it's back to Higbee, you know what I mean? They just never did.
Yeah, agreed. It's just once per game they have a drive that seems centered around getting the tight end the ball, and they go right down the field, and then they just don't do it again, and it's frustrating. But the thing that I was worried about with Davis Allen was apparently Parkinson was nursing some injury. And so I was a little bit worried about whether or not Davis Allen was going to be the prominent tight end.
Yeah.
So next up we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the 49ers. +6 for the Seahawks. Over-under is 49. +210 if you're betting on the Seahawks. -258 if you're betting on the Niners. I think I'm starting Gino in our league of record this Sunday. I just feel like he's gonna have to throw the ball today.
I thought you had Russ.
I think I still do.
You have 3 quarterbacks?
Yeah,
we're in a 1 quarterback league.
Go with Russ today, man.
I would play with Russ.
And I have somebody on injured reserve.
I would definitely play Russ.
All right, make the change. I have somebody on injured reserve too that I think. Let me see. That's out for the season. Diggs.
Yeah.
So it's I got some roster
maneuverability
maintenance to do.
Oh yeah. You can't be having those dead spots on your roster at this time of year.
But every time I look through the players, I'm like, there's There's not much left out
To me,
there.
there's always like 2 guys that I could see myself picking up. Like,
just in case. Yeah.
if I had a dead spot, you know what I'm saying? Like I would automatically drop that person or excuse me, I would add this person if I had a spot available. I always feel like there's 1 or 2 guys at least.
Well, who's out there?
On ours right now,
Sure.
bear with us, guys. Like,
Should I start Bateman over Judy?
Yes.
That was one thing I was wondering.
no, you should not do that. No, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
Judy is not.
Look, okay,
Let me-
before
let me-
there
let me-
you go.
let me look at
there
his
you
numbers
go.
real quick.
There you go.
Okay, he did do good the last 2 weeks. Absolute garbage up to that point, but
But you're talking over the last 3 weeks.
No, you're-
he has 25 targets.
if you want to pump him up, dude, say after the last 2 weeks because he sucked on the Cincinnati
And I
game.
don't do that. I don't do that. You look at where it started to increase, and he's also playing 90+% of the snaps over the last month.
Should I play Bateman over Douglas?
And this is a great matchup. Demario
Over
Douglas?
Demario Douglas.
No, I would
Pop
start.
Douglas
I would
hasn't
start.
been getting much. Are you sure?
I would, huh? I would not just. I'm not going to start
Bateman's-
Bateman.
I know,
You're talking about
Bateman's-
Bateman.
I know.
Like I think they're going to sooner get
Been getting and Bateman
Deontay.
bad-
I think they're going to sooner get Deontay involved than Bateman all of a sudden becomes a starting asset.
Yeah, he's had some games, but you're right. You're right.
Actually, you know what? Our waiver wire is a little dry right now.
No.
But you know, in our league, our waiver wire is usually dry, and it's so funny because like, all of the major podcasts that do a weekly waiver wire all do a mockery of the "they're not available in my league" type of thing, you know, and it's like. That is our league, though. Like you guys, like on those shows, they never give us information that we don't already have.
Right.
It seems like in our league, and like I never feel like I listen to something and be like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that guy. And it's like even like the obscure ones, the ones where like this guy's not even a thing now. It's like you need this injury to happen,
Right.
or this is something we're projecting is going to happen over the course of the season. That guy's already on the bench, like Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Not only was Chase Brown already on a roster, that person paid $14 to have him during the draft. But that is the level that our league plays at. It is a difficult league to play in. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I love playing with our guys. It's great. And then you got Steve.
Oh,
who's
Ken,
who's
Bezzy
essentially-
wanted to know if you play Call of Duty.
I do not. But thank you for asking. I don't play any video games, to be honest, though, anymore.
Yeah.
Like I have like 80 hours of Final Fantasy to play that I still haven't. You know, I have 3 different Final Fantasy games that I have not completed, and 2 of them I haven't started yet. So
There you have it.
Yeah.
I miss video games, though. They were so much fun.
So, which game were we picking?
I think we were picking the 49ers to win.
49ers,
over the
Seahawks.
I'll take the
Seahawks.
Niners.
Yeah, we got sidetracked on rosters because of Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like any of the Seahawks today, honestly. I like the Niners to roll in this game.
Yeah, you're gonna start Metcalf and Walker, but yeah, other than that, you don't want to. I can see.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, I kind of like Charbonnet. The 49ers have been a little susceptible to receiving backs.
Walker's been getting that work though.
No, Charbonnet gets more targets than Walker does. There's actually
the
reason
his
that
targets have been improving though. Walker's have.
The reason that I picked up Charbonnet in that deal for where I got Pearsall, the reason I like that deal so much is that Charbonnet is in it, and he hit this this marker there's this podcast called the Dynasty Nerds, and they do some really interesting deep dives on players, groups of players going back, like 10, 12 years. And they went back, I think, to 2014, and running backs who caught 35 passes or more like they hit that mark in one of their first 2 seasons. Every single one of them at some point produced at least one top 20 season. And Charbonnet did that last year. So it's like I mean, obviously, there's always statistical outliers, but he's a very high probability to at some point just kind of like bust loose and produce.
Okay, but just looking at targets, especially in the last 5 weeks, they're pretty even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to be behind today. The 49ers have been doing a really good job against receivers. So I expect them to struggle. Like I think DK in the first game against the 49ers, I think that was like 10 or 11 targets and 3 catches or something like that. So, start your 49ers, fade your Seahawks, go CMC.
All right.
Ricky Pearsall for life.
Next up are the Falcons and Broncos. Falcons are +2. The over-under is 45. +114 if you're betting on the Falcons, and 135 if you're betting on the Broncos.
Tough game.
So I got a question actually. Kraft, Hawkinson, Kraft. I'm trying to read this. I'll just read it verbatim.
Kraft, Hawk, and Cheese.
Kraft, Hawkinson, and Estime, tight end 1 and flex 1, full PPR. I think that's a question.
I would start Estime and Hawkinson.
There you go.
Correct.
All right. So next up we got, you agree with that?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
correct.
Next up is Falcons Broncos. I just read the lines for you guys, and that's what we got going on.
Okay. And this is going to be a real tough game to pick here. These are two like middle of the pack wannabe playoff teams going at it.
They're both in the playoffs if they start today.
Right. I doubt they both make the playoffs though. One of them probably will. We'll find out today which one, I guess. I'm going to go with Atlanta here. I think Atlanta's the better team. But Denver, I mean, it's tough. This is a super close one. This is a coin flip game for me. Maybe I just want Atlanta to win more because those pieces are just everywhere in everyone's lineups.
You want to put the hat on this one?
No, this is a coin flip.
No.
I just said it's a coin flip. Like this is a 51-49. That's not what I want to bet on.
Oh, I do because I don't see it that way.
Okay.
I see the Broncos winning this game.
Like handily?
I wouldn't say handily.
Okay. Yeah.
But I feel like at the end of the day, you're gonna be like, wow, the Broncos are pretty good. Because I like what they're doing. I think Bo Nix is playing excellent football. Courtland Sutton's been playing really well. And if they've got their running back answer, then they've got another element to their offense. Yeah, I like the Broncos today.
All right.
And that defense is awesome.
Who are you picking there, Ray?
I'm picking the Broncos.
Okay. Cool.
You going Falcons?
Huh?
Are you going Falcons?
Yeah. So I got
got
another
a lone
lone wolf. I love it.
Falcons on the road, baby.
Next up, we got Kansas City
Bezzy's
Chiefs.
with you.
Yeah. And the Bills. KC's +2.5. The over-under is 46.5. +114 if you're betting on the Chiefs. -135 if you're betting on the Bills. Will the Bills give KC their first loss this season?
And everything on paper says that the Bills should win this game. Like everything's just it's screaming the
The
Bills.
refs
gotta
aren't on
win this
paper.
game.
The refs aren't
But,
on paper.
Man, how do you bet against Mahomes, man?
How do you bet against the Zebras?
Oh, and who? It's in Buffalo.
It's in Buffalo.
Oh man.
I am. I'm going to pick the Bills.
I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs.
Wow.
What about you?
So I really want to pick the Bills.
I do too.
But when you look at what these teams, are doing well right now and what they're not good at, so the Bills need to be able to run the football right now. They're hurting. Like Keon Coleman's out. Amari Cooper is supposed to play today, I believe.
Yes.
But he's not 100%. Dalton Kincaid is out. So they're just missing pieces in
Just
a passing
enough.
attack that hasn't been awesome this season. Anyway, like Josh Allen lately, actually, he's averaging like 280 yards a game or something like that passing, which is kind of insane. But they're not scoring. And the Chiefs excel against the run. So if the Bills are able to effectively pass the football today, I think they have a chance. but they haven't demonstrated an ability to just pick teams apart with their passing game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I hate it,
Okay.
but I am going to pick the Chiefs.
Yay.
I'm rooting for the Bills. I'm going to be watching this game, wanting the Bills to win, but the way that it lines up, like the one thing that the Bills aren't very good at against right now is the run. And that's what the Chiefs have been a better running team this year than they have been a passing team.
That's why Kareem Hunt's on both my lineups.
And Kareem Hunt is getting the ball like 22 times a game or something like that. It's kind of
He
nuts.
will again today, yeah.
Yeah, because there's no reason not to just ride until the wheels fall off when you know Pacheco's
Absolutely.
coming back.
Absolutely.
Next up, we got the Bengals and the Chargers. Bengals are +1. Over-unders 48.5. -102 if you're betting on the Bengals. -118 if you're betting on the Chargers. I'm taking Chargers in this
I
game.
want the Chargers to win. I think that like next year, Chargers are going to be great, but I don't know. I just it feels like the Bengals are too strong here. I think the Bengals are going to win. I don't want them to at all, but
Taking the coach.
I think they will.
I'm taking the coach.
What about you, Kim?
Steelers just recovered a fumble.
Yes.
I think Derrick Henry fumbled.
That's
He
how you
did.
start a game.
No, that's terrible.
Yes.
Come on, King. What are you doing?
All right. So let's pick the rest of these games. I want to watch my game.
Jesus, that's terrible. Come on, King.
I'm so excited.
All right.
So, who'd you take here?
I'm going to take the Bengals. I like what the Chargers have been doing,
I do too.
but I just like the Bengals offense is kind of unstoppable
It's
right now.
Clicking right now.
Joe
so,
Burrow is the dude.
Yeah, you have to score 30 to beat the Bengals right now.
Joe Burrow is just awesome. That guy is like if I was
Frosted tips and all.
yeah, Macaulay Culkin. Yeah. Macaulay
That's so
Culkin's
bad.
doppelganger. Like, if I was going to start an NFL franchise, like if I had pick one, like it would be between Mahomes and Burrow for me. Like I don't think you could take Burrow over Mahomes based on what he's done.
No, it would be Mahomes for sure,
and
but
then
I
it
can
would be-
see why
and then
Burrow
Burrow
is
is number two.
Yeah, I can see why he's in the conversation.
He is that good, and he's just and I think it's interesting because like I think we're all like Mahomes has kind of like cemented the type of ceiling that he has as a passer, but we're like 3 or 4 years removed from the last time Mahomes was like a 30-point per
yeah.
game type of guy, but Burrow does that. Burrow, how many games this year does Burrow have where he's over 30 points in scoring? 6 point. It's probably 4 or 5. One, two,
Over
three,
20?
four.
Or over
4 games. 4 games in
Yep.
6 point per passing touchdown where he's got 30 plus, and 2 of those are over 40.
3 of them over 40.
3 of them. Right, 3 of them over 40. Oh, no, I got one at 39.
Oh, I'm looking at our league, and I
looking
got
at our
him
league too, I
40,
thought.
41, and 44.
Oh, no, I'm looking at half this. Oh, well, this is half PPR. That shouldn't make a difference.
Unless he caught a pass.
No, I don't see that here. Anyway,
Anyway.
like okay, so one, three games of 40 plus points and 2 of them back to back. Like he just has the ability to get red hot.
Yeah, and he is right now. So
And he is right now, and
hard to bet against him.
Right, and I'm not going to. Like the only thing is whether or not. So the Chargers, I believe, are leading the league in sacks, and they've got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa who are healthy, and that never happens.
Right.
You know, so that's the important part of the game. Is if Joe Burrow has 3 seconds to pass the ball, like if they're not just on him all night long, I do think that Joe Burrow will pick them apart and the Bengals will win this game. But the Chargers have a puncher's chance.
No,
If
they really do.
If,
Yeah. No,
if
this
they are
is an
able
easy
to get
pick.
to Burrow and slow that offense down, the Chargers can definitely win this game.
Please do.
Because on the other side, you've got the guy that I'd pick after Burrow, and that'd be Herbert. and we all know I love Josh Allen, but like in terms of like longevity, what I think is, and Josh Allen's playing like A plus football this year. He's been awesome.
He's great.
But
how many years can he do it?
The way that he does
way
it,
that
the
he
way
does
that
it,
he
yeah.
chooses to do it, and I think maybe we'd feel differently if he hadn't lost Diggs, or if they had replaced him a little quicker, and their passing game was a little more explosive because he's doing it quietly.
Well, they want to run this year. That's their identity. Is
But
they
they're
wanna run
running,
the
yeah.
ball,
But
so.
he's 28 now, and so you can't. There's just not very
gotta
much
start.
longer that we're gonna be projecting that he's able to just be like the Hulk.
Got to
with
start
the
thinking
football in
about
his
the
hand.
future for sure.
So
What do
anyway,
we got next?
Texans versus Cowboys. Texans are
do we have to?
-7. Over under is 41.5. -310 if you're betting on the Texans, and +7 if you're betting on the
-310 if you're betting on the Texans.
And I'm going to bet on those Texans.
And hold on, and that's with like a 7.5 point spread, right?
7.
7 points, and it's -310.
Yep.
And I wouldn't take those points. There's no way. There's no reason to bet on the Cowboys here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not taking the Cowboys.
All right.
I do not feel.
you're not?
I'm not. No, I do
All
not.
right.
No, that's why I brought that up earlier. Is like if they're if they're gonna quit on me, I'm not honor bound to pick them in games.
I feel like lone wolfing the Cowboys now.
That's funny.
How bad would you feel?
That should be automatic fucking.
That would be a confusing moment. Honestly, that would be really just really confusing. I wouldn't know. I'm not sure how I would feel. I really not.
If something like that happens, we need a new hat. We need like a dunce hat or something. Like if we were to do that,
A tattoo or
and be
something.
freaking right about it.
So, for
Last
anybody who
game,
doesn't know,
last game, real quick. We can just spit it out there. Steelers and Browns on.
Well, I was
Thursday
going to talk
night.
about the other game. I was talking about the Texans game.
I know, but we could just throw this one out there, and then we can get back to the.
Oh, sure.
To
Steelers.
To the Steelers.
Sure,
Okay.
I'll pick the Browns.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I get to pick
That's
the
the
Steelers to
Thursday
lose
night
twice.
game, just because I got no stat line on it. Ken's picking the Browns. All right.
Browns are at home. These teams do play each other tough, and the Browns tend to steal one from the Steelers every year.
One and one is that's what our division is kind of known for. Is we
Yes.
go 1-1 against everybody.
All right. Go for it. Texans, Cowboys. Go for it.
Nico Collins is back.
Yeah.
When Nico Collins is on the field, C.J. Stroud's quarterback rating goes through the roof. So the Cowboys are dead last against the pass over the last month, and I expect that to continue.
All right.
There you have it. Final
And on
thought-
those sad words,
Yeah.
on those final thoughts.
Yeah, honest. So we'll leave you on a sad note this
Right.
week. Yeah, no. Is there anything positive? So Rico Dowdle was announced as the lead back. Whatever that means. Whatever that means to you. So like if you were somebody who had Dalvin Cook or Zeke Elliott, and you were like, well, we'll just see what happens. Just drop him.
yep,
Just drop him.
garbage.
Rico Dowdle is the only one to hold on to. He's the only player on the Dallas side that I'm like comfortable starting with, because like if you have Rico Dowdle on your team, he's your third running back, so you're starting him as a flex, and so that's fine, because he does get targets even last week where they did nothing. Rico Dowdle still got you 10.5 points, 11 points, or something like that, even though he produced I think 40 yards total.
Yeah.
So without scoring. So he's somebody that you should start every week. Super worried about CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
I saw a deal in a dynasty league this week that was straight up CeeDee Lamb for Nico Collins.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not sure I would do that.
I would take the Nico Collins.
That's
side.
what I'm saying. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And this is dynasty we're talking about. It's
Yeah.
like Nico is attached to C.J. Stroud, and they are the same age. I'm not sure I would give up Nico Collins for CeeDee Lamb.
And he
right
just
now,
got his contract,
which
Hell yeah.
is
Oh, man.
insane. Because if you'd asked me 6 weeks ago, I'd have given you a first and Nico Collins and for CeeDee Lamb and felt like I robbed you.
Right.
You know, so things change.
Gotta love fantasy football.
You gotta love it.
All right, guys.
So yeah, there's your
football.
positive note.
Go Steelers.
Get out there and crush it, guys, and root for me so Brian can keep that hat.
Next week. See you.